Hey everyone, Felipe here. Welcome to another Tower of Saviors card review video. In this video, I'll be taking a look at the new Madhead Original Jackpot card, Euphonious Crooning Melody. She is going to be a light elf card, and I'll be taking a look at her leader skills, team skills, and active skills, and letting you know my opinions about this card. So let's begin with her leader skill first. We have Elf and God team members, attack increases by 8 times, and recovery also increases by 8 times. HP basic value of all members will be increased by 1200 points. By dissolving race runes, your attack of Elf and God members will increase by 4 times additionally. And if the number of runestones or groups of runestones dissolved in the first batch is a multiple of 4, Elf and God attack will be dealt regardless of fixed combo shield and regardless of defense. Now let's take a look at the team skills because this usually complements the leader skills. We have that when Melody is the leader, the team is equipped with a shield of 40,000 points. The shield will be recovered by 1.5% of your recovery surplus. You will have 4 seconds of extended runestone movement time regardless of any enemy skills. Light, Dark, and Heart runes will possess 50% the effect of each other. Sticky will be nullified. If the team has only elves or gods, when your current HP is full, your damage received will be decreased by 50%. After dissolving runestones, the first batch of runestones to be dropped in the column below each elf will be elf runestones of their own attribute. And the first batch of runestones dissolved in columns that are not elves will be enchanted heart runes. By dissolving 20 or more runestones, your team attack increases by 4 times additionally, and your combo count increases by 10. Additionally, if there is a Euphonious Crooning Melody in the team, all the members of the Elemental Instrument series will gain a -2 cooldown reduction on their skills, and a -4 cooldown reduction after entering the stage. HP, attack, and recovery will also increase by 1.4 times. So this is basically like the collaboration special that collaboration cards get, where their stats increase if you use cards of the same series. So taking a look at her leader skill and team skills, I think this is a pretty good card. Times 8 attack and recovery is pretty standard, and the way that you're gonna be running her team is going to be elf and god only, because that way you can trigger all her team skills and all her leader skills attack multipliers. Times 8 and attack and recovery, 8 is pretty standard, but times 8 recovery is actually really good. This is because you are going to be healing a lot, which is very normal for elves to be healing a lot. And you also gain an additional HP increase on your members, 1200 points, which is not bad at all. But it is still a little bit less than if you had a times 2 HP multiplier on your team skill, or on your leader skill anyways. It is still something good, especially because elf members tend to have really low HP, so having an increase of 1200 points is going to be pretty significant. By dissolving race runes, you get an additional times 4 attack multiplier, and based on her team skill, she is going to be able to generate elf runes in the first batch as guaranteed schedule, which means that the ability, or in order to satisfy this condition, this is going to be really easy. So basically you will have an unconditional times 4 attack multiplier for your entire team. If you don't want to proc this effect, you can always just spin one combo and not spin the race runes, and that is going to allow you to stall a little bit better by not activating this times 4 damage multiplier. However, in normal situations, it is going to be really easy to activate, and that means that your damage output will be pretty high as well. I really like the third effect because it comes with inbuilt shield breaking potential. If you dissolve a batch or group of, or 4 groups of runestones in the first batch, you will be able to deal damage regardless of fixed combo shield. This is going to be pretty good because I have a feeling that, or in my experience, fixed combo shield has increased in appearances in stages in the past recent months. Even there's 1 enemy, 2 enemies, or even 3 enemies in the stage that have fixed combo shield. So being able to ignore it without having to use any active skills is going to be pretty good. Ignoring defense, also really nice, but nowadays it is less applicable unless the enemy has condensed runes or petrified runes. But yeah, in terms of the team skill, I think the 40,000 shield points is going to be really beneficial, again, because elf members have really low HP, which means that they don't survive as much. Previous elf leaders have countered this with a tumbler effect, where if your HP is full, you will not die. Melody has something similar, but she only gets 50% damage reduction. Given your really high recovery, you will be able to regenerate your shield and also constantly be at full HP unless your recovery is negated. Which means that you will always be able to proc this minus 50% damage reduction. However, I do think that some enemy hits really hard that they might deplete your entire shield and also overcome the 50% damage reduction and still kill you in one shot. If this were another leader like Pandora or the Minerals or the Cornflower series, you will still be able to survive the hit in 1 HP unless the enemy has a shield breaking active skill. If an enemy has a shield breaking active skill, it also bypasses this 50% damage reduction, but you will still have this 40,000 shield points to tank that hit. So it is a good thing that you have a shield, and it is a good thing that you can recover your shield pretty reliably every round because your recovery is so high. But in my opinion, I think because elf members have really low HP, you might still die, which is why you want to run some tanky gods in your team. So any of the Supreme Reckoning cards, they have really high stats, and that can help you overcome the weakness of having low HP pools. Additionally, you do want to run this team in a light dark or a mono light team or a light dark team because you have a runestone possession effect with your light and dark. Light, dark, and heart runes will possess 50% the effect of each other. Notice you don't get any water, earth, or fire effects, so you can run those attributes for utility, but just know that those members will not be launching as powerful attacks as the other members, especially because you get heart skydrop from the columns below god members, and you get the attribute of the elves in each of their columns. This means that you can still run rainbow, but the amount of attacking runes that are for water, fire, and earth will be significantly lower than the ones from the other attributes. So if you run a light dark team, you will be able to launch bigger and harder hitting attacks. Yeah, I touched upon it a little bit, but you do want to run elves and gods. The elves will guarantee that you have attacking runes for that attribute, but the gods will also guarantee for you to get a good significant chunk of heart runes as well. And like I said before, the gods will also help you balance that HP stat because they have different stat distributions than the elf race. In my opinion, being able to run elves and gods is going to be really powerful, especially because gods have a lot of utility in the game. But yeah, going back to the team skill, these the first batch effect is going to be the core playstyle of her kit. You do want to dissolve as many columns as you can to guarantee as much skydrop as you want. And also, if you dissolve 20 or more runestones, which is actually not that hard, your team attack will increase by 4 times additionally, which is a really nice chunk of damage. And you also get a plus 10 combo, which one increases your combo count and your attack multipliers, but it also helps break high combo shields. But yeah, so this is going to be her core playstyle, and 20 runestones is not that hard. You only have to dissolve 2 columns of 5, and that is actually really easy to do. And you already get your 20 runestones because you get 5 and then 5, and then you get the sky drop on both columns, and you get 20. So that is going to be a really easy condition to hit. So in terms of activating and benefiting from all her attack multipliers, her conditions are really easy to hit. So she has all the attack multipliers that you would like. She has good, she has some inbuilt shield breaking potential. She has access to elf and god cards, and like I said, elf has a lot of utility and gods also have a lot of utility, including some really busted collaboration cards as well. She also has a shield and a damage reduction, so that is going to increase your survivability. But other than that, I do feel like one of her weaknesses will be that she doesn't have a tumbler unlike other elves, and if you're running more elves than gods, you might run into a low HP issue. Even though you have the 1200 HP point increase, I think she would have benefited a little bit more from a ×2 HP increase for all members, because that way you can still balance out with the god cards. But 1200 is not bad at all, actually. 40,000 point shield is pretty good. If you think about it, Baal has 66,666, and that is already plenty to tank a lot of hits. So 40,000 is actually pretty nice. But as enemy attacks increase in in damage, this 40,000 shield might not be enough, but it should be plenty, especially if the 50% damage reduction also depletes your shield lower as well. But yeah, overall, I think this card is going to be a really fun leader. It's been a while since we have a good elf card, so definitely welcome into the game, in my opinion, because this is going to help me clear some of those elf achievements that are a little bit harder to do nowadays. So definitely a good card to have. In terms of team building, any elf or any god card will fit, but I think this card will fit really well in AR Gemini. Yes, AR Gemini, because he will have a self-increased attack multiplier of ×6 if you dissolve 6 groups of 5 heart runes. And with Melody's team skill, getting that max stacks is going to be really easy, because every god column will give you a group of 5 runes if you are able to dissolve every column. So the fastest you can do is you can build Gemini stacks in 2 turns if you're running 3 gods in different columns. And honestly, being able to get that ×6, if you add on her ×8, the ×4 from race runes, the ×4 for 20 runestones, you are going to end up with a very tanky or very heavy hitting Gemini. So being able to get AR Gemini in this team is going to be really beneficial as well. But yeah, other than that, I think any god, any elf utility is going to be really good. But as a team member, I do think Gemini is going to be a really powerful core card for this character. In terms of elemental instruments, this is just a beneficial. The skill CD is going to be permanent, a permanent -2. Meanwhile, the stage will be a -4 when entering the stage. We don't have that many elemental instruments, I don't think yet, but unless these are the Tombstone Redemption ones, I will have to check on that. But it might come into play because the activation requirement is just so easy, so simple, that it is a strict benefit and you don't have any downsides of benefiting from this. So if you had to add an elemental instrument to the team, you still benefit from it just because the condition is to just have Melody in the team. So this is going to be a nice bonus to have when team building. So yeah, overall, I do think she's a good leader. So now let's take a look at her active skill. Her active skill is going to be a CD6 skill and has the following effect. Upon skill activation and at the end of each round, turn the top row into enchanted elf heart runes. Modify the runestone's touch while moving to become elf runes. You get unlimited runestone movement time without dissolving, and within the runestone movement time. And if the leader is an elf or a god, you get that light, dark, and heart runes also possess 50% of the effect of each other. And this effect stays in play until deactivation or defeated. Whenever you deactivate this skill, and you can deactivate it anytime, light elves will have their skill cooldowns reduced by 1. In my opinion, this is going to be a really powerful card. If you watched my videos in the past, you know that Time Tunnel is one of my top rated active skills, because you can stack runes, you can ignore sticky trails, burn trails, you can do less movements whenever you have thorn paths, you can avoid tornadoes, you can avoid lasers, things like that. So in my opinion, Time Tunnel is going to be really powerful, and being able to have a consistent Time Tunnel that goes through rounds is also really powerful because this means you have a time tunnel every single round, and that means that is going to be a little bit easier for you to beat down enemies. In my opinion, this active skill is going to be really good because not only it benefits herself as playing as a leader, but it also benefits any gods and any elf team leaders that come in the future. For gods, it is less important because we already have Tsukuyomi, and Tsukuyomi basically has the same effect where you have a consistent time tunnel. But for elves, this is going to be a really good card if you need to run a mono elf team and you cannot slot in Tsukuyomi. If you ask anyone that's played Tsukuyomi before, her skill is going to be really powerful, especially against the corrupt seal stages because of that darkness that we get. If you use Time Tunnel, you actually don't really need to worry about the darkness as well. So you can just Time Tunnel every single round and it is going to be pretty easy as well. The fact that you can deactivate it anytime also saves you from neutralized resets and things like that. But yeah, the actually no, you get the Time Tunnel effect regardless if it is elf or god. Sorry, I got confused with the fourth effect. So basically, any leader will benefit from this card, just like Tsukuyomi, and her cooldown is actually lower than Tsukuyomi's cooldown. I think, or is the same. Tsukuyomi before power release is 8, after power release is 6, so it's about the same. But yeah, so having another card that can give you a consistent time tunnel is going to be really nice in the game as well. So if you don't have Tsukuyomi and you don't want to pull for her since her seal is a little bit older now, so spending your diamonds for just one card might not be that beneficial, so you can go ahead and try to pull for this more newer leader that is coming up. But yeah, in my opinion, her active skill is really powerful, and the fact that you can deactivate it anytime is also going to be really nice. She also has some bonding skills, but her bonding skills are pretty standard. Just launches extra attacks, and characters cooldown -1. So just pretty standard for the newer jackpot cards to have some bonuses on their bonding skills. But yeah, overall, I think this card is pretty good. For a Mad Head original, I think it's pretty fun. It is going to be a really powerful elf card. And the fact that you don't have to run dual leader and ally is also a really good benefit. That means you can run, say, Taji or Pandora as the other leader, and that will give you other stat boosting effects, like for example, an HP increase or a other like benefits if you run different leaders as well. So yeah, my opinion, really good leader, solid active skill, 1% jackpot card. I think in terms of whether you should pull or not, I do think that her playstyle is pretty fun. But again, this is a Mad Head original, so it will be coming back and it will probably also be returning whenever we have another all max choose your own card event. So if you want to save for black gold cards or save for collaboration seals, then go ahead and save your diamonds. I think as the game progresses, there is always power creep. So if you want to skip, there will always be a more powerful card coming out the next patch and the next patch. But in terms of this card, I do think it's a pretty good leader, and it's not disappointing as other leaders that we've seen in the past. So I do think she is worth pulling. If you get her, I don't think you will regret it. But if you skip her for other collaborations, I also don't think you will regret it either. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say about this card. Please let me know in the comments if I said anything wrong or if I missed out on any information. As always, stay tuned on my YouTube channel for more Tower of Saviors content. And for now, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you next time. Bye everyone!